I'm glad we're not introducing everybody by the bios because there was a little typo. The one who's going to follow me, it was, instead of public media, it was the L was left out. But anyway, I'm not a storyteller. I'm a documentarian, and I shoot people who tell stories. So I'm kind of like on the other side of the focus here, so bear with me. I'm up here because I was given a second chance. The first chance I was fired. I was fired because Tony had invited me to tell a story about my growing up in Brazil, and I didn't show up for rehearsal. And so I got an email from him the next day saying, you know, we're good friends and all, but this is a professional thing, and I just can't have this. It's not part of my CV, so you're fired. I spent 2 months begging for a second chance. He went ahead and gave me a second chance. Anyway, this story is about Tucson, and it's about a day in February where I decided to break a rule. It's probably one of those federal rules that was in Tony's book that he showed. And it was a very rainy day, and the washes were flowing. And the rivers were, you know, were almost bank to bank. And everybody knows in Tucson that the last thing you do is take a vehicle into a rainy, stormy, bank to bank flowing wash in Tucson. And you're probably thinking, okay, I was sitting on top or standing on top of a vehicle, water flowing through the windows, helicopters overhead trying to rescue me. It wasn't quite that way because I was on horseback. And that day, that rainy day in February, it's cold, I decided to go on a ride. And I live close to the wash. And so the washes, when it's not raining, are these major horse trails throughout, you know, all of Tucson. Sometimes I ride into Saguaro National Monument, you know, Canyon. If I go the other way, because I live Swan and River area, if I go the other way, I can go all the way to the Mission. And I've done that with some of my endurance horses. But on this day, the wash wasn't quite bank to bank, and it was, you know, mid-afternoon. And it was kind of cold. And so I saddled up my good buddy Chester Moon, who's been my quarter horse for, you know, about 10 years or so. And we have this relationship. This is one of the things Tony told me, you gotta establish a relationship, you know. he told me there's like 3 or 4 rules of good storytelling, so I'm gonna try to, you know, wrap those in. The other one was, you know, 3 things, repeat things 3 times. Anyway, I had this relationship, or I do have this relationship with my horse, Chester Moon. He's a quarter horse. And he'll do just about anything for me. And one of the other storytellers is Pam White. She's this accomplished equestrian who jumps 7-foot fences every day. That's her life right now. So anyway, she can relate to this. So Chester Moon and I, we went up to the wash, and we decided we were going to have a play day. So we decided to cross, and the river was not flowing bank to bank quite yet. So we went ahead and crossed. And in that point in my life, I felt like I was somewhat invincible. Nothing could bring me down. I could just conquer everything. Done some crazy things in my life, you know, parachuting, riding horseback in the wash with 3 horses, ponying 2, jumping from bareback from one to the other. Pam's cringing over here because that's not what she does. But that day, you know, and that time in my life, I felt invincible. So I went ahead and crossed the wash, and the water came up to my quarter horse's chest. And, you know, my boots were covered in water. But we got to the other side, and on the other side, we're galloping around, having a great time. It started to get dark. So I decided, time to go back home. So Chester and myself, we decided that we'd not cross in the same place we came over, which was really solid footing, but we'd take the short route. And it looked a little sketchy, kind of quicksandish. And so I said, what the heck, you know, invincible, let's just do it. As soon as Chester took a step in, he went down. He went down all the way to his belly, and he rolled. And he rolled on top of him. And so the water was about 2 feet deep. And Chester, who weighs about 1,200 pounds, was on top of me. There was about 3 or 4 seconds in my life that just kind of disappeared. I don't know what happened. But I remember coming to, and my head was, you can kind of picture it. I was, horizontal in the water. My head was just above, 1,200 pounds of horse flesh on top of me. And I hear this voice, a voice of a passerby. It was a woman who was walking her dog, and she had a cell phone. And she said, "Hey, you need some help. I'm going to call for help." And my immediate reaction was, no, I'm okay. 1,200 pounds of horse flesh, almost drowning in the water, but I'm okay. It's the last thing I wanted. It's kind of, I reflect back to that moment in time. So why did I, deny the help? Was I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want the helicopters and the 911 and the rescue squads and, to show up and be embarrassed. I said, no, I'm okay. Go ahead. Just keep walking. I'm all right. So then I turned my attention back to Chester. And he's got his whole hip. He's trying to stand up at this point. He's got his hind leg on my leg. And I'm thinking, the water's cold. I'm semi-numb. But I'm thinking, I don't know if my leg is broken or not. And I can't get up. And the water at this point is rising. I see a big tree trunk float by. Anyone here in Tucson, they have that image in their mind. I see an ice chip float by. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is not the place to be. And it's getting dark. And so my attention is back on my horse, trying to get out from underneath him. And I'm pushing his hind hip, and it's not budging whatsoever. He's scared. He's shaking. He's on top of me, and I hear the voice come back. The woman is still there. Hey, you don't look all that great. I think you need some help. And I'm no, you're making the horse nervous. Just keep moving. Stupid. I was able to reach over, so I turned my attention back to Chester Moon. I reached back over and I was able to grab the reins with my fingertips. And I pulled them towards me. And then that damn voice comes back. Hey! You look like you really, really need some help right now. And I said, you know what, lady? You're making the horse nervous. You're making things worse. Just keep on walking. And that was the three times. So the woman's gone. She's walking away. She's gone, right? And so I'm able now to refocus back on Chester Moon to get him off of me. So I still have the reins in my hand. Woman's gone. I pull the reins towards me. And as the head pivots towards me, then the hind legs, of course, have to follow the other way, off of me. So then the horse is off of me. So now I'm like, all right, is my leg broken? What do I do now? Right? It's almost dark. And another big tree branch comes along. And my wife told me, don't repeat the tree branch thing. Anyway, so I think, all right, I'm going to stand up and see how I'm doing. So I was able to stand up, and I'm like, I'm okay. I can walk. And so Chester Moon is kind of flailing, and he's trying to get his footing. And we go ahead and cross the rest of the river. And there was one point where we floated more than we actually, were able to walk across. Somehow we got across. And I remember there was one point where he was pulling me. He was actually in front of me, maybe swimming. And I was holding on to his tail, and he was pulling me across. Somehow we got across the river. When we got across the river, there was a stump that I was able to climb up on. And as everybody who rides horses is told, when you fall off a horse, what's the first thing you got to do is get back on it, right? Okay, so I climb up on the stump, and I climb back up on Chester. And as soon as I sat down, a lightning bolt of pain just shoots up my spine. And I'm thinking, I am messed up. But I stayed on it, and I rode home. I got home. And I took as many over-the-counter pain-killing medication that I could find. Some of it not over-the-counter. And I was able to kind of, gut through the night, right? And the pain just didn't go away. And I'm thinking, I'm dismissing it. Oh, it's just muscular pain. It's going to go away. No big deal. 2 months went by. 2 months more. And I finally decided to go to the doctor. My dad's a physician. I'm a son of a physician. I'm like, ah! Stupid. Finally, I go to the physician, and I get an x-ray. And my coccyx, which is my tailbone, okay, is broken in 3 separate places. And the doctor tells me, you know, some people, they never get better. Some people have this pain in their tailbone for the rest of their life. This was 7 years ago. And after 3 years went by, actually, I was able to ride again. And I can sit in airplanes without, you know, too much pain as long as I take some, you know, over-the-counter drugs. And so I'm okay now, you know, but now I know that I'm not invincible. I can't do some of the crazy things again. And every time it rains in Tucson and the washes flood, sometimes I'll go ahead and grab Chester Moon and we'll saddle up and we'll ride to the edge of the wash. And we'll kind of look out over the water. And there's this little moment of silence between the two of us. And just kind of remembering that day. And, you know, it's not that like, I don't look at him, he doesn't look at me. It's not but it's this moment of silence where like, you know, we're not going to do that again. That's a Tucson.